Good afternoon and welcome to the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board's Monitoring and Oversight, What is Good Information? I'm Dr. Fred Farias III. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. And welcome to this afternoon's presentation. Some of the content of the sources we'll be using today will be from the Association of Governing Boards and Universities and Colleges. Boards need information about many things, but today what I want to do is cover some subjects and areas that are very important for you as trustees and Board of Regents to be able to be very aware of to be successful in your new roles. One is revenues and expenditures. It's important for this information for you to be able to have a good grasp of it, as well as the flow of students from K-12 schools to college and on through the labor market. How personnel are used in the institution or college you were overseeing, comparisons with peer institutions, patterns of spending, major spending goals or standards. Reliable information can be gathered from different areas. Officers or employees of the institution whom the board reasonably believes to be reliable and competent in the matters presented. Legal counsel, public accountants, or others who are professionally or expertly competent. A committee of the governing board in which he or she is not a member. So it's important to also know what's going on with the other committees. Reliance on information provided by others is important. Must be reasonable under the circumstances, considering such factors as the source of information, whether the information is a brief summary or an extensive analysis, whether the matter is routine or exceptional, the time frame in which a decision must be made. What should you know and why? As a representative of the people of Texas, a board member should know about the following things. Finances is a very key area. Ensure that the dollars are spent in an effective and efficient manner. Ensure institutional financial health. Live within budgets and spending categories for the university and the colleges. Understand the true cost of athletics. Know your systems or institution's reserves, as well as watch debt closely. Economic development is a key area to be very aware of. Be aware of activities that boost the local economy development of the state, of course, and in the region. Be knowledgeable of success or not of private fundraising. Audit and accreditation reports are important for you to review. Know significant findings on audit reports. Be aware of any regional and professional accreditation findings. Facilities and employees. Ensure that the physical facilities are maintained and new ones built when needed. Ensure employees are treated fairly. Understand the employee performance evaluation processes. And know the diversity of faculty and staff. Academic programs for you to be very aware of. Ensure that academic programs are of the highest quality the institution can afford. Be sure the institution deals with the suggestions of accrediting bodies. Ensure the viability of academic programs and centers. Be knowledgeable about collaborations with other systems and institutions. And be aware of the success or not of online offerings, which is very important now during this pandemic. Student health and safety is a high priority. Ensure that students are safe and in a healthy environment. Secure assurance that students are provided the assistance necessary to complete their education as soon as possible. Strategic plan. Ensure that the system or institution that you are overseeing has a viable strategic plan and that it's being followed. Make sure that the institution is making progress towards its share of the goals and targets of 60 by 30 Texas. That's the Texas Higher Education Strategic Plan. Data you should know and why. Given that data can stimulate good questions and assist sound decision-making, a board member should become familiar with useful data regarding the following. Diversity of the student population. Academic preparedness of incoming freshmen. Enrollment trends by major. The number and percentage of remedial courses and their success rates. the number and percentage receiving financial aid, transfer rates and success of transfers, retention rates, graduation rates, progress on the 60 by 30 Texas plan. Useful data on graduates, which is an area that's so important in higher education in our state and all over the country. What happens to our graduates? What are the pass rates on national licensure exams? What's the average salary after graduation for the students in your institutions? The debt load of graduates by discipline is important. Useful comparisons with peer institutions is also an important aspect to review. Cost by category for 100 full-time equivalent students. Administrative staffing per 100 full-time equivalent students. Staffing ratios for 100 full-time equivalent students by institutional category. Income from tuition and fees per 100 full-time equivalent students. And trends and average salaries for faculty and staff, along with overall trends of the institution. How to get started? Ask what metrics are used now. Find out what is happening at that institution in terms of the metrics. Ask about dashboard indicators. Add your input. Arrive at an agreement on what is needed to be an effective board member and an effective board. But don't ignore the subjective. There's a lot of data that you can look into and research that'll help you in your position as a trustee or new regent. Data tools are available online in the following websites here. highereducation.texas.gov is one, along with the 60by30texas.com, the state strategic plan for the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, and texashighereducationdata.org. Your position as a trustee and as a regent, whether it's an institution or whether it's a system, is very important for our state and the effect of students and families in higher education. We thank you for your service and look forward to answering any questions you may have in the future here at the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. Thank you for your time and thank you for your service.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm Julie Eklund and I oversee the Strategic Planning Division at the Coordinating Board, which falls under the Data Analytics and Innovation area led by Deputy Commissioner Laurie Fye. Our division includes the Education Data Center, where we collect student-level data from all Texas public and independent institutions of higher education, as well as from for-profit career schools that have a presence in Texas. In addition to data collection, we have a team of analysts with higher education policy and content expertise who analyze the data and provide reports and other resources, many of which are available online. Using data to inform decision-making is an important function of higher education institutions, policymakers, and other stakeholders. Providing actionable data to higher education leaders is a high priority of the Coordinating Board. So efforts are underway to expand and enhance the range and depth of data resources available. We are committed to working closely with institutional leaders to help you access data and informed analyses. So now I'm going to share what we have available at this time, and the Coordinating Board will share updates as new resources are available. Institutional and other data is important for tracking progress on the state 60 by 30 text goals, shown here, and will play an important role in informing the refresh of the state plan. 60by30text.com was designed to provide snapshot data related to the plan. It has several components, including interactive, statewide, regional, and institutional data, resources, media announcements and events, and graphics that can be downloaded and used in slides and other media. There is also the ability to do deeper dives into the accountability system directly from 60by30text.com. And you can see there's a red arrow on the slide at the upper right pointing to where you can jump into the accountability system directly from 60by30text.com. The accountability system provides data by institution for all the public institutions in the state. It also provides data for some for-profit career institutions and out-of-state institutions that have a Texas presence. The accountability system also provides data by peer grouping, by sector, and statewide. In the accountability system, you can select your institution and see several years of data for key and contextual measures. And importantly, it's a great place to see data for your peer institutions. Data can inform and inspire in a variety of ways. Institutions, as I said, can use accountability data for comparison to peers or for benchmarking purposes. The data are produced using the same methodology for all institutions and over time, so that institutions can look at trends for their own institution or comparisons to others and be confident that the measures are calculated consistently in an apples-to-apples comparison. One of the real advantages of the Coordinating Board's data resources is that we collect data on students in all sectors, and so students can be tracked across institutions over time. So this slide shows an example of graduation rates for universities and two-year public institutions. It includes the outcomes for first-time in college students who started at a Texas public and completed anywhere in Texas, no matter where they began. Graduation rates have always been a key measure in the accountability system, and it's exciting to see that the state has moved the needle on these. Universities have gone from a 36.8% graduation rate in 2017 to 40.1% in 2019. That's a big jump in 2 years. And in 2000, university four-year graduation rates were under 20%. So it's great to see a change in those trends. For two-year colleges in 2017, the three-year rate was at 21.7%, and it was almost 25% in 2019. So again, great progress that's been made overall. But the progress has been varied across the state, and you can see that through the system as well when you look at individual institutions. We hope that data resources can be developed to better help those institutions that are struggling to show gains in student success, as well as to support those who are already making great progress, and be that on graduation rates or other key indicators. The Coordinating Board uses accountability data to meet statutory responsibilities and to feed other data resources, such as online resumes and our almanac. Institutions can add contextual comments to their data to help us and others better understand what the data are telling us. And we collect data for other purposes as well and show it in the accountability system, such as to support the National Research University Fund and to calculate the performance-based success point funding for the state's community colleges. Institutional leaders can download their full accountability report for their institutions alone or by sector or peer group by going to the Interactive tab and selecting Accountability Reports. We also have some predefined reports, comparison reports located in this area. When you do get to the accountability report, there's a drop-down that will lead you to your sector and your school. The Texas Higher Education Almanac is a published document, but also easily available online. And it includes well-organized statewide data analyses on topics of interest, like transfer and developmental education and completion rates, as well as profile pages for every public institution in the state. Finally, we have a website dedicated to higher education data that includes links to the data resources I just shared, which were 60by30text.com, accountability, and the almanac. You can see those large boxes across the top there where you can link to those resources. But there's also additional data here. And the red circle on the top is where we have drop-down links to other data reports. In those reports, you'll find data that tracks students across the P16 to workforce pipeline. For example, we have additional transfer reports, as well as having information on students who go from higher education into the workforce, such as wage data for those students. Also available are institutional financial reports, some of which I believe you heard about in other presentations today, such as the Community College Financial Condition Report. We're working on improving our user interfaces to data. So if you have some trouble finding things, please do contact us, and we're happy to help you. We're interested in making sure our data resources are intuitive to use and easy to understand for a variety of stakeholders. And we certainly encourage your feedback on our current resources and ideas for moving forward. I've included here my contact information if you'd like to contact me, if you need assistance in finding data, if you have questions about the data we have available, or you just want to provide feedback about our online resources. Thank you again for joining me in this look at the data resources available from the Higher Education Coordinating Board.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you this afternoon about the work the agency does to ensure the quality of new degree programs. I'm Stacy Silverman, Assistant Commissioner for Academic Equality and Workforce at the Coordinating Board. The Coordinating Board has 1 year to review a proposal for a new degree program. However, most reviews are completed in far less time, with the majority reviewed through a streamlined process, which I'll talk more about later in my presentation. It is of note that every new degree program has a long road to go before it arrives at the Coordinating Board. Each institution has its own way to develop a proposal for a new degree or certificate program. It often starts with a single faculty or faculty committee, and then the proposal winds its way through the institution. It may then go to a system office and then a review and approval by a board of regents. Next, the proposal makes its way to the Coordinating Board, where staff review it, an external review may be required, a site visit may be required, and then the proposal makes its way to the Board Committee on Academic Workforce and Success, and then on to the full board for its consideration. Sometimes the process seems exceedingly complicated. It's the Coordinating Board's responsibility to make the process of submitting and reviewing a proposal reasonable by providing clear instructions, timelines, and expectations. Some important questions to consider when beginning to think about a new degree or certificate program require an institution to make sure they know what is currently working and what their existing offerings are, and to identify resources that they have. Important questions to ask are related to faculty, institutional support, and space. Additionally, it's critical for an institution to understand what other existing programs look like in their region, in the state, and across the country. If existing programs are not at capacity, maybe it's not a great idea to start another program. And another important question to consider is what the employment landscape looks like for future graduates. The Coordinating Board has 3 existing resources to help institutions as they explore whether to begin a new proposal. Institutions can find out what they currently offer by searching their program inventories. There are 3 ways to search for program information available on the Coordinating Board's website: Degree Program Search, Institutions Inventory of Degree Programs, and the Distance Education Program Search. The Degree Program Search allows a user to search one field or a combination of institutional sectors to see who offers what degree programs. There's also a link to the Classification Index of Programs, or what you may hear referred to as zip code. This is a national taxonomy of programs used to identify degree and certificate programs, courses, and declared majors. There's an institutional search, a degree level search as well. I use this when I want to get a good understanding of how many institutions offer a specific degree or certificate program. To find out detailed information about a specific institution's degree program, search on the institution's inventory of degree programs. This is searchable by sector, and for public institutions, it can also show the program inventory by institutional administrative structure, which provides a little bit more detailed information about how the programs are arranged within an institution. To understand which certificate and degree programs are offered through distance education, this search tool allows the user several ways to explore, including by distance education type. For example, 100% online or electronic to group. It also allows searching by institution type, degree level, zip code, and program name. It allows for the output to be an HTML, Excel, or a PDF file. Once you explore what the existing landscape of programs looks like, some additional questions to consider are where the program would be located, would it rely on existing students to populate it, and would students have paid internships? As far as curriculum development, important considerations are what courses would be needed and when would they be added. The program would it use competency-based methods, open educational resources, and would students clearly understand the skills they would gain when they complete the program? This is a helpful diagram if you're thinking about proposing a new bachelor's, master's, or doctoral level program. It allows an institution to understand which path and which proposal to submit. The important question is the program a high-cost program, that is $2 million or more, an engineering program, or a doctoral program? Institutions proposing a new degree or certificate program are required to notify area institutions. Specifically, an institution that wishes to submit a proposal should notify other public institutions of higher education within a 50-mile radius of the proposed location of the new program. They can do this through a letter or email to the chief academic officers of the area institutions. The notification must be completed 30 days prior to submitting the proposal to the coordinating board. If the proposing institution receives an objection, they must resolve it prior to submitting the proposal. And if they cannot resolve the objection, the proposing institution may ask the assistant commissioner to mediate the dispute. Once all objections have been resolved, the institution may submit the proposal to the coordinating board. There's a streamlined approval process for many proposed bachelor's and master's programs. It requires an institution to certify the following: the proposed program has institutional and governing board approval, certifies compliance with the standards for new bachelor's and master's degree programs, certifies adequate funding to cover the costs of the new program, and the funding required would not exceed $2 million in new costs during the first 5 years of the program's operation. It's also not an engineering program and would be offered by a university or health-related institution. The standards for new bachelor's and master's degree programs ensure that institutions establish programs based on need, including job market need, student demand, and enrollment projections, quality, the degree requirements, including the core curriculum, the number of hours in a program, whether or not the institution has the accurate resource that it needs in place, including faculty, library resources, and facilities. Also, costs. Is the program estimated to cost less than $2 million? And it's important that the institution know that these programs won't generate formula funding for the first 2 years of their operation. And finally, the institution also will regularly assess the quality and effectiveness of the degree program. The coordinating board has many resources available for institutions to use, including the ones I mentioned previously, such as the program inventory, in addition to the accountability system, which provides a wealth of institutional information, including enrollment and graduation data. Some important external resources include the IPEDS data and the National Science Foundation research data. This slide shows some additional resources that are helpful when an institution begins to develop a proposal for a new certificate or degree program. Many are free and publicly available, such as the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Texas Workforce Commission, while others are available at a cost, such as Burning Glass and MC, which provide labor market intelligence. I encourage you to contact me if you have any questions about degree program development or beginning to draft a proposal for a new degree or certificate program. I thank you for the opportunity to walk through this process with you.